Hello, Ddraig here with my final part of my overview of Mixu Legendary Lords 1 Empire section. I'll put on the screen part 1 and also part 2 if you want to see them first. As with all the Mixu videos, you need Mixu Start Edition mod to play as them, and if you want the bonus units I mentioned, you need the Supplement mod. As for this video, I will cover Tabakund, Ostland and finally Kislev. So let's journey to our first location, Tabakund. Now we have Tabakund, which is considered the most well connected of all the Empire factions, and is dominated by the Great Forest. Bang in the centre of the Empire, it is surrounded by friendly factions, so being a pretty secure starting place. Ostermark is to the east, Stirland to the south, Midland and Riky to the north, west and west respectively. Faction wise, they have reduction in cost of stables and pasture buildings, with a nice bonus to the Demigryph Knights. The notoriously foul-tempered Helmut Faubach is in charge and brings some reductions in the cost of demigryphs as well as swordsmen, making them cause fear, which is a rare thing for the Empire. Abilities wise, he has buffs when he's in the forest with a nice physical resistance. A strong buff that represents his foul temper, making him a risk at rampaging. This gives him a charge bonus and a really nice buff to his vigour. The Rune Fang he wields is great when fighting any shield infantry, and almost gets rid of that bonus when it hits, so great for using him to debuff the stats. And yet there's some great infantry coming out to help him. The smallest starting army, but a strong cav presence of the Knights of the Blazing Sun, a high value cav unit. Also bringing the unit Talberheim Kurs, bringing a really strong sword infantry unit along with his great swords, giving it a really effective double hit. Okay, let's see how Helmut here can go all about his campaign. Well, you start up against it if you're Tabakund. As you can see, we've got the Empire Secessionists on the front doorstep, and they own 3 of your settlements right off the bat, which is never a nice viewing. So all you do is hold the capital, Talberheim, which is not a bad place to hold. It's got some nice Sun Chapter House there, so a nice bonus there. Other than that, it's not an easy campaign this is going to be. Starts off you got to deal with the Empire Secessionists, which will slow you down, but easily get you out of the way. And your army, which we'll come back to in a minute, is not the biggest in the world. So, around you, you've got options. You've got Hocken to the north. Eventually, you have Ostermark to the east. If you take Mordheim, you can cement that relationship. To the south, Stirland, and to the west you got the Empire, and also you got Rissingen down here, which you may be able to access, I'm not sure. But obviously, the most pressing thing is to deal with the Empire Secessionists. So, this is your army, and it's not big, is it? Let's be fair. It's probably the smallest of all the armies. So you've got 2 Knights of the Blazing Sun, which are very nice units, very hard hitting, very good shot cavalry. Crossbowmen, swordsmen, the Talberheim Kurs, which is a very good unit of renown. Not much in armour, but we do hit hard. What's that ability? So we've got that ability when we're here. And Discouraged. Drops the leadership, very good. And a unit of great swords, and Helmut himself. But tough one. You don't have much money coming in because you only own 1 settlement compared to some of the other factions, to the other starting places. So that's put you on a back foot right away. But you do get 2 units of cavalry, and very good cavalry, the Knights of the Blazing Sun right at the start, so that's pretty good. So first obviously is to get rid of the Empire Secessionists, much like you would if you started in the Empire. Get that sorted, and you got nice trade routes then to the Tabakund, definitely to Ostland. Down south you got Stirland, and then you can start thinking about what you're going to do next. But yes, from the start, not the easiest starting place, and probably one of the hardest you can do because of the lack of money at the start. But certainly a fun campaign, and certainly a challenge. So the active count of Tabakund, Helmut himself has this following skill tree, has access to a griffin, always handy. And he has some interesting abilities there. Rise, Comfort, and Blessing of Tao. So let's look at his top 3. So he's got a Rampage mechanic, a constant. So makes him hit very hard, but does send him off on a bit of a I'm going to kill you and I don't care what's going to happen to me. Excuse me. Some nice art buffs to the Demogryph Knights, which is always a good thing, because Demogryph Knights are a wonderful creature. Swordsman update buffs, very nice. Bit of a buff to himself. The Gadfly, nice bit of income from post-battle ute. And Rampage for enemy hordes in local province. That's a bit of an interesting one. I'm not sure that's a good idea. I'm not sure if you would ever take that. Maybe that needs to be tweaking that ability. So interesting. And be able to tell. So minus 10% of upkeep for all units. That's a hell of an ability. That is pretty strong. And good forest physical resists if they're in the forest. So that's really good. So yeah, that is an interesting little tree there. Some good bits and negatives. I'm tempted, excuse me, to start with your Demogryph. And maybe stay with that all the way through the campaign and team him up with some other Demogryph Knights. So there you go, that's a skill tree for Helmet. Off to the southwest of the Empire now, with Vessinian, home to one of the largest industrial cities in the Old World, Noon. Near the Black Mountains to the southwest and the southern Grey Mountains. To the northeast is Avian, and to the north is the Reichland, where they also share a small border with Stirland to the north. Giving some magical buffs to the armies, and of course being home of Noon, Atiria is a lot easier to come by here. Which brings us to the leader, Emmanuel von Niebowitz, a childhood friend of Carfan's himself. Not a fighter, but a caster of the Oar of Death, making a very dangerous Oar to face. Who rightly caused fear in the enemy, having bonus in fighting the undead due to arcane knowledge. She can also ambush and defend against ambushes better than most Lords. Emmanuel has some nice abilities which make her tougher in combat, with Dark Walker and Death's Timekeeper. Not that she should be in combat, but something to help her in dire circumstance. If she does get there, she can use a Pale Scythe buffed to cause some hefty damage to whoever she is fighting. Her Star's army is the strongest of any. 16 units strong with a special hero character, Theodore Bruckner, which acts as an excellent and powerful bodyguard for Emmanuel. With Noon Ironsiders and of course a Hellblaster cannon with a huge amount of infantry straight off, this is one formidable foe at the start of the campaign. Time to check out Noon and the Vessinian close up and see what she has to deal with at the start. And now on to Vessinian, which has a very intriguing starting place. So here we are in Wissenberg, and we've got Noon to the north, and we own Perdorf. So we own a complete faction, a complete province, and we have Wissenberg, we have Noon, and we have Pitdorf here, and Pitdorf has an iron mining pit, always very good at the start, good trade-off asset. We have a tier 2 Yevil barracks, and a bit of room to grow, and we have Noon, who's at Yevil 1, and a very, very good starting place that is, because of the new cannon foundry. So, starting places to go, might be the best, depending how you want to play the campaign. For starters off, you have the dwarfs to the west, and dwarfs are pretty much, on the whole, a pretty safe bet for not bothering you. Unless you bother them, and then you're in serious trouble. But other than that, you've only got Carricknorn here. So that's held by Carricknorn, yep, it's actually Carricknorn. And to the south we've got Carrickern. And I presume we got trade possibilities with both. Actually, we already got trade with Carricknorn, which is actually on a Mon, so that's not going to be much use to me. Can I trade with Carrickern? I can. So that's 2 straight off the bat. I'm bound to hit it with Avian as well. Got the Empire to the north, and we have a Tapikund, which I believe we can trade with. Let's just double check this. No, we can't actually do them, so we had to do it with Stirland instead, I presume. Yes. So, trade opportunities are plenty. Enemies-wise, there's only Skarsnik, really. Unless you want to annoy the dwarves, or the Empire themselves. Yeah. Down here is more dwarves, and you can be able to trade with these as well. I would afford. So look, sure you can. So you can trade with all dwarves. If you like trading with dwarves, this is your faction. But one interesting thing with this army is how strong it is. 16 strong, which is the strongest ones I've seen in this in Mixu's mod, and it is a hell of an army. Let's go through it. Hellbuster Voigan. Those things are just amazing cannons, and you get that straight off the off. 2 crossbowmen and a unit of handgunners, much better. You also get new and iron sights, which are a yeet armor piercing unit of renown. So yeah, I'm just say about that. Your front line is already built with swordsmen, spearmen, and normal spearmen. You got a unit of halberders, just because why not? And you got some great swords. If that's enough, you get a hero. You get Theodore Bruckner here, who's very, very powerful, as you can see. And just in case you want some magic, Elsif is the King of Death. She has all the death spells, well, she has access to the death spells, which we'll check out in a bit. So yeah, this is a starting point to end all starting points, and this gives you an interesting possibility. Do you fancy taking the Empire on? Because with Elsif being that strong right at the start, and being a bit of a dark person, let's have a quick look at her burb. As you can see, she has the Awe of Death, so she could be quite feared, and you could stake a claim of going off the Empire yourself and come under your banner. So that'd be quite interesting to do. I'd be tempted to do that myself, to be honest. So yeah, that is Visinion's starting place. Elsif's skill tree. So for Visinion, what she brings to the table? Well, the obvious thing is she brings the Awe of Death, which, as we all know, is very powerful indeed. And as you start in the edge of the Ord, that's a hell of a starting place to go with. And you can also get your Master Awe of Death, reducing winds of magic across the board and cooldown, and winds of magic power reserve. So yep, that is good. And if you really want to be overpowered, you can get a dragon. Why would you go anywhere else? If you want a good fun campaign, these are the people to go. But she has abilities as well. Darkwalker, nice physical resistance. Guns of Noon, as we all know. Noon is one of the places to be for cannons and any weaponry, so you get bonus because of that. Spectral Death, an interesting ability that. Leadership when an own or our territory, melee defense. So if you own territory, that is definitely the thing to do. Graveyard Rolls, enemy casualties -5, and campaign movement +10. So that's really strong. Friends and high places. So if you want to go on the method of being friends with the Empire, take this. And income for buildings +10% to your performance, very nice. And Dark Age of Noon increases our magic abilities even more. So really strong edge to do all this. Finally, we get to the hands of Kislev. This is the biggest starting area for any Ords in Mixu's mod. Also, giving Kislev a huge problem due to the borders with Norska and Chaos. They are the first line of defense for Chaos, so make sure you're defended well. If that's not enough, Hell Pit is here so the Skaven can come down and make lives even more unpleasant. With the only meaningful borders with Ostland to the west and Ostermark to the south, as the only Empire bordering factions. There are some dwarves to the north, allowing possible trade routes, and maybe allies in the frozen north. Small faction buffs have having good replenishment across the board and recruit rank of 1. Small buffs they may be, but they are strong and affect all your units. Leading Kislev is Zarina Katarina Boka, a powerful wizard using the Lord of Ice. Of course not a strong combatant, but brings the Lord of Ice with her, which has been fleshed out by Mixu, so we can take a look at her spells. Firstly, there's a buff called Shield of Cold to apply to friendly units. Then we have a Hex, Midwinter's Kiss to slow down the enemy, which is a feature of her abilities across the board. Now we have some damaging spells. Wind of Ice, a cheap breath attack. Shardstorm, a powerful area effect spell. And finally a very powerful vortex spell, which causes a lot of damage and slows the enemy. Order-wise, she brings some nice debuffs to slow down the enemy and cheaper greatsword units. Abilities, Beloved of Kislev. This giving any unit around her a buff to leadership and making them fight for her. Whenever she casts a spell, a big reduction in speed across the map and increases her own toughness. With a crystal cloak to buff herself even more, being a great way to keep the damage down on her just in case she gets caught. Katarina can also make a unit go into stalk, bringing in a graceful barrier to block the enemy from seeing them. And if she does get herself in combat, then she can use Fear Frost to give her a quick boost to her damage. Katarina's army is pretty basic, but does have a cannon, and a unit of Empire Knights being the stars of her army. Other than that, it's fleshed out with some spearmen, a good solid army, but nothing spectacular. But she is a very powerful Yord, so that might be the reason. Okay, let's journey to the lands of Kislev and see what the icy weights have in store for us. Kislev and Katarina herself. So, this campaign. You're going to have a lot of money, and you have a lot of land. Let's have a look at the land. So you have from Fort Jakova here. You have Kislev, obviously. Zavastra, Prague, Volksgrad, Fort Ostermark, Fort Dragunov, Zuiskek, and Erengrand. You have to forgive my pronunciation of all these. And that is a lot of ground to cover with only one army, which we'll come back to in a bit. Poor Katarina's got a work cut out here, but this has so many different fronts. You've got the Varg to the north. Dwarves not too bad, so hopefully they stand up to. I know Thingy stands up there on the Norse Lords. Frog, I think it is. You have the Skaven, who just the other annoying Kislev. And you also got the Greenskins to the east. And that is so much ground to cover. Well, it's just ridiculous. You're going to have to raise armies immediately just to cope with all of this. Put them into key positions like probably Zuitzteg. Hopefully they can cover these provinces. And maybe one down here just to cover Fort Jakova here. Other than that, yep, you're in trouble straight from the start if you're not careful. So, trade routes. What have we got for trade? Well, we've obviously got the dwarves to the north. We've got some of the Empire, and of course we have a port, so that's always handy. To the south we've got Ostland, so we can trade with them, we can trade with Beckhofen and Ostermark. Well, we can try trading with the Karakungor, but I don't think they'll be that impressed. Speaking of, let's have a look what have we got then. So we're at War of the Great Red Eye, so we're straight off of war of them. Norskins love to annoy us, so they're probably going to go straight for us. But other than that, we can probably get a nice trade deal here, no problem, yeah, green. We'll draw over trade, and I thought that's quite, yeah, 326, that's worth a lot of money. So that is very nice starting place, and of course you start off with a lot of money because you've got so many provinces. Admittedly, most of them are quite, well, we got 2 there, capitals are 1, 2 1s there, 2 1 there. Prague is 2, so that's not bad. And you also got Kislev, which should be 2, which it is, and 1 and 1 either side of it. So, a lot of building to be done here. Let's look at Katarina herself, the Tsar. For starting an army, it's not bad. Got a great cannon, always good. A couple of pistiers, always handy. And then that Empire Knights, even handier. Spearmen, a couple of units of spearmen, halberdiers, a couple of swordsmen, and some great swords. So not too bad. Starting armies go, it's not bad. Not bad, not the greatest, but not bad. But it's going to be stretched thin in this campaign. So yeah. That is going to be a tough campaign, but a fun one, I reckon. And if you really want something to get your teeth into, this campaign might be just for you. So Katarina here, the Tsar of Kislev, is got a skill tree. She has her own magic, which is Your of Ice, which is actually pretty new by Mixu. So I'll go through that. I think I've gone through that already. but I can quickly go over some of these, so I'll just hover over them. Got Stalk there, Physical Resistance, Shield of Cold, Midwinter's Kiss, and if everyone remembers the game Midwinter, please leave a comment and make me get me feel okay about being this old. Wind of Ice, and Evasion. Shard Storm and Invocation Ice Storm. So you got attacking and buffing abilities. Of course, they got the Arcane under it. Got Kin of the Bear God, so physical resistance 10% for your army. That's crazy powerful. And you got some buffs for the over ice magic. Here we got Beloved of Kislev, so that's boosts leadership for everybody around you. Wayward Guard, great swords, buffs all across the board. Yeovrey, Devoted Forwards, so that's some nice recruit rank bonuses. And then we have the Secrets of Bokar Paris, so some research rate income and reducing enemy wins and magic, very nice. Protector of Kislev, as you might guess, you'll be facing a lot of the Chaos, Norscat, and possibly the Beastman, so that's a really handy buff to have. And Kingdom Come, that's a bit of public order and untainted, because getting rid of that Chaos stuff would be very difficult. And that is Katarina.